Today we're counting down Omega Ace's top 5 video games. If vampire hunting was a sport, Omega would be the champion. He's completed 19 no-death runs of the Castlevania series, and it's just a matter of time before he finishes all 35 games. He streams live on YouTube from Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and Fridays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. In addition to streaming, he also creates very informative shorts about the lore of Castlevania. And finally, Omega appeared with Tylord and myself when we did our top 5 James Bond themes. Check out the link below. Let's dive right into it then. What is your first pick?
Okay. It's no surprise that there are going to be Castlevania games on this list. And naturally, I'm going to start with one. My number 5 pick is Castlevania Circle of the Moon for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, okay. Very cool. You know, I think you may have the very first mobile pick of anyone. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, think back through the episodes, but I don't think anyone has picked They've picked games that have since been ported to portable consoles, but I don't think they picked anything that was originally on a portable console. So, and I'm assuming this was, right? I'm not that familiar with the franchise.
Yeah, it's for the Game Boy Advance. It was actually the very first Castlevania game I'd ever played. A friend of mine let me borrow the game, and he let me hold on to it for that summer. I believe it was 2001 or maybe 2002. And that's, I had a trip with my family to Mexico where we were visiting our family, and I just took the Game Boy Advance everywhere, and I was pretty much just glued to that little screen.
That's awesome. I didn't have a Game Boy Advance, but I had a Game Boy, and I loved taking it on trips. So many games that I would play on camping trips and vacations and things. So I actually probably played the Game Boy as much or more than any other console when I was a kid, thinking of it that way. So just riding around in the car a lot. Even if it was a short 20-minute ride, I'd have the Game Boy with me.
Oh yeah, Nintendo's always had they at least most of the time they try to stick with backwards compatibility for their handheld devices. So being able to play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on the one device was super convenient.
Absolutely. That's very cool. So, tell me more about the game then, because I really don't. I've never played this one. I don't think I've played a mobile Castlevania game at all. I know there were more. There were quite a few though, but
Oh yeah, so many.
I haven't played any of those yet. So, is this your favorite of the mobile Castlevania games then?
I try to tell myself that it isn't, but I think there's always this bias, whether it's subconscious or not. That it's the first game I played, and there's something about that that's very special to me. I didn't even realize at the time that Castlevania had all these games that were just traditional 2D platformers. Because I dove into Circle of the Moon, which plays a lot like Symphony of the Night. If you've never played Symphony of the Night, then I mean you're not gaming, honestly. But
oh, I agree, and you should stop listening to us right now and go play Symphony of the Night if you've never played
yes,
it. Because
100%.
As much as I would say our show is awesome and I love producing it, Castlevania Symphony of the Night is absolutely top tier 2D platformer. So it does not get better than that, in my opinion. So
yeah.
That's very cool that you would make that comparison. You're making me want to play Circle of the Moon even more, just making that comparison.
Yeah, and it has its own unique card system that has cards based off Roman mythology. You have one row of cards that's based off the gods, and then another row of cards that's based off the creatures and monsters. And if you combine two of those cards, you get different. In some cases you completely transform.
Wow.
And in other cases your weapon changes from a whip to a hammer to a sword. And then there are other changes that simply modify your stats. So it's got RPG elements that's also worth mentioning. Like any other Castlevania game, the music is fantastic. This one was composed by Sotaro Tojima. Uh, he really, there's some songs here, like Aquarius, for example, that's from Castlevania 3 for the NES.
Okay.
So most of the time, the very first track you hear in a Castlevania game, more often than not, that is the theme of that character. So that's their song.
Right.
There are rare exceptions to that rule. Like I know Castlevania Lament of Innocence, you don't hear Leon's theme until you're at the tail end of the game. But in this game here, Nathan Graves, I believe is his name, the main character, his theme, I've always considered it to be the first song that plays, which is one called Awake.
Okay. That's very cool. And I would like to say that I've played a few of the Castlevania games. I haven't played, nearly as many as you have, obviously. But the music is such a compelling element of that series. Even in the few games that I've played, it stands out so much. If you appreciate quality game music, I feel like you really owe it to yourself to explore this franchise, because the music is just top tier.
Oh yeah, big time. And once Symphony of the Night dropped, pretty much every single game after that was composed by the same person. So you're gonna notice subtle nods to the other songs even, which I'm gonna dive into actually a little later.
Fantastic. Yeah, I really want to play this now, and I assume it's been ported to PC since this?
Yeah, actually, it has. Yeah, in the Game Boy Advance collection, I believe it's just called the Castlevania Advance Collection. I think it's what it's called.
Right. I think I've seen that one recently. That can be had now for less than $10, right? I think.
I mean, if that's the case, it's a steal. It's a steal. You get 3 Game Boy Advance games, and you get the Super Nintendo port of Dracula X as well. So that's
nice.
They throw in that as a bonus.
Awesome. Yeah, and I assume they've added all the modern things, save states, anywhere, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and there's actually a quality of life improvement to Circle of the Moon, and that's that whenever you kill an enemy, it tells you whether there's a chance of a card drop or not.
Okay.
And that wasn't... Yeah, so before you actually had to look it up, especially for some of those... Because there were a few cards where there was no way you were going to figure it out on your own.
You had to really hunt for them.
Yeah, so... Just knowing that, like, when you whip the enemies in this game, and it notifies you right away, oh, there's a card drop from this enemy, so you're gonna want to keep killing this enemy until they drop it, or they, there is none, so you just move on.
Sure.
It helps so much.
Well, this was still back in the days when we had paper players guides. We didn't just have the internet for 10 different walkthroughs for every game.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah.
No, that's
and this was
cool.
Yeah, this was still during like the early years of the internet, right? So like they were both kind of coexisting, you know what I mean? Like strategy guides, physical strategy guides, and guides online, they were both there.
Yep. You could find them, but it's not like now, right? Where any game you want, you just get on YouTube and you have a full video walkthrough of every possible moment of it. And at your fingertips. I remember buying I would buy the Final Fantasy games at like Babbage's or Electronics Boutique back in the day. This was before they all became GameStop, right? We used to have all these different little game stores. I don't know do you remember that? You might be a little young for that.
I was born in '86. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So you remember all these different stores. And but I remember, like, when I would get a really big RPG like that, I would always try to get the player's guide too, because they were so easy to get stuck on. Like those games were super complex at the time, and so I always tried to get the player's guides if I could. But nowadays, don't even think about it. Oh, got a problem? Just Google it. Get right past it in a minute.
No joke.
So, yeah. Well, that's a very cool first pick, and I definitely want to play it, since you compared it to Symphony of the Night. That's one of my favorite games. And anything else you'd like to add about Castlevania Circle of the Moon?
Really just that at the time when I picked it up, it was very affordable.
Cool.
Gosh, I remember after my friend lent it to me, I said, well, I want to buy my own copy.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to my local Kmart, and it was there, brand new still, for $10.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I think I still have that box copy. I think that's the one I kept this whole time, so...
Now, for the retro gamers out there, then, would this be one that is fairly reasonable to find, CIB?
You know, to be honest with you, I haven't looked for a very long time,
Okay.
so I don't know what it goes for CID. But I mean, if you want accessibility, I mean, you know, Game Boy Advance cartridges. Well, shoot, I don't know. I don't know what the gaming market is like for Game Boy Advance anymore. I haven't collected for Game Boy Advance in ages.
Well, you know what it's like. I mean, it's different for even if it's a relatively common and high-produced console. You've always got those games that are rare or people want so much and the prices go up a lot, so it still may be easiest to just play it on PC.
Honestly, like, batteries in Game Boy Advance cartridges are dying these days anyway, so I would just say, you know, suck up your pride a little bit and just go ahead and just buy a modern version of this release, because, you know, it has quality of life improvements. God, they even threw in artwork, official artwork, in a gallery. Yeah, and it's high definition art. It looks really good. You can zoom in on it as much as you want. It looks great.
This is all concept art or actual finished pieces?
Finished pieces, yeah. I don't think they released concept art for Circle of the Moon, unfortunately, but but the finished pieces are fantastic. There's even 2 source images of 2 of the cards, so you can see where they pulled the sprites from. God, I wish they did that with the rest of the cards, but they didn't. But there's at least 2 images, and they look so nice in detail.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I will check that out for sure. I love card games as well in video games. I loved Triple Triad, Final Fantasy VIII, and you know, because it's a whole nother. That was sort of what to me started the whole game within a game. I know we had mini games and games before that, but when you have a complete card game like that in Final Fantasy or The Witcher, that's like it's a whole nother game. Like its whole world is this card game that you could be playing at any time, and it's just a further level of immersion. I mean, even Red Dead 2, right? When I play Red Dead Redemption 2, I love playing poker in Red Dead Redemption 2 because you can just play poker games all over the world, you know, in the Old West. And to me, I just think that's really fun. And you can bluff, and you know, you can cheat, and all these different things. Like it's amazing. Now you can get in trouble too when you cheat, but it's just a fun kind of mechanic.
Yeah.
And more immersive. So yeah, half your poker games end in gunfights in Red Dead 2, but that's another story. Cool. Well, thank you so much for telling me about that one. That's definitely going into my backlog. What's your 4th pick?
My number 4 pick is Ninja Gaiden 2 for the NES.
So yeah, tell me about Ninja Gaiden 2, because I want to say I played one of them that came out for, I want to say, the 360, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I don't think I ever played the old ones.
Those are super relevant, by the way, right now. They had literally just dropped a remake of that one that you played, Ninja Gaiden 2, for the 360. It's called Ninja Gaiden Black 2. It just dropped like a day or 2 ago.
Oh, okay.
So if you really like that game, you should definitely, you know, consider picking up the remake. Because I mean, I don't know. I watched the trailer and that was enough for me to just buy it right then and there.
Sure. No, it definitely looked very cool. I'd like to play more of the Ninja Gaiden games. I enjoy ninjas in pop culture media in general. You know, I was a big fan of Ninja Turtles when I was a kid, and you know, like everyone else in our generation. Yeah, I was gonna say the rest of the world.
But
yeah, so I like Ninja Gaiden, what I played of it, and I just want to mention real quick a more obscure series, Tenchu. Stealth Assassins. Don't know if you ever played those. That was on PlayStation originally. Like
yep, I was gonna say that. That's PlayStation 1. That's right.
Yeah, I loved the first 2 Tenchu games. They were some of my favorites. and they were very overshadowed by Metal Gear Solid because the first one came out the same month as Metal Gear Solid did. Another great game, but
yeah,
not very many people know about Tenchu, I think, largely because of the time it was released, but it was fantastic.
I only know it by name alone. I'm not familiar with Tenchu myself.
I think you would really enjoy it if you like Ninja Gaiden, and do you like stealth games?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Metal Gear actually got me into stealth games. So
yeah. See, if you like stealth games, I think you would appreciate Tenchu because it's like all stealth. If you try to run and gun your way through it, you're gonna die. Like you pretty much have to be a ninja in that game, and that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, regarding Ninja Gaiden 2 for the NES, like my earliest memory of that game was when I went to a garage sale with my dad, and this guy was selling, NES games, and they were, I want to say the guy was selling them for 2 for $5. So you pick 2 games, it was $5. Which, at the time, that's about what those games were worth. But I mean, God, I don't care. It's,
right?
It was they're a great they're a great purchase regardless of price, and
right.
Heck, at that, and my dad, he covered the bill there. He paid for the 2 games, but I remember at that moment he picked up Ninja Gaidens 1 and 2 for me because he told me, he said, "Okay, go ahead and choose 2 games." And the covers drew me in right away. I believe the original has Ryu standing in front of like a city backdrop, and then it has like flames around it. Really iconic cover. If you're not familiar with it, you need to look at that cover. And then Ninja Gaiden 2 like really bumped it up a notch because it's they changed it from like a day background to a night one, and Ryu is striking a way cooler pose. There's a dragon behind him. God, dude, as soon as I saw those, I said, wow, like those 2, like no contest. I'm grabbing these 2 games, so those are the ones I chose.
It was a good choice. I know that I've heard about them before, obviously, knew that was where the series started on the NES, but I haven't played them myself. So, but I know they were obviously really popular because they made a bunch of sequels.
Yeah, they're very like cinematic. They have cutscenes where they kind of do like a widescreen black bars on the top and bottom of the screen. There's dialogue.
Nice.
The music is fantastic. It's some of the best music on the NES is from Ninja Gaiden.
Well, in bringing up music again, you are getting into vinyl. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, they recently opened pre-orders, and it took me years to finally cave. Right, they opened pre-orders for a Castlevania vinyl set. It was essentially every game up until, let's say, 2010.
Wow.
Every single Castlevania game soundtrack. It's about 45 vinyls.
Oh my God, that's impressive. Like, I didn't know that they were doing a set. Like, do you mind if I ask how much it was?
Oh God, it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $600. God, I know. But I mean, if you do the math, it's 45 vinyls for $600. That's pretty decent.
Now, are these all 12-inch or 10-inch records, like full length, or are some of them the 45s?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not too sure.
Okay, I'm just curious, but it does sound like a good deal. I will say, even for 600, that many 45 is a lot of vinyl. So. And
yeah,
is this all new pressings then?
Some of them are like remasters, or they made some adjustments to them. But as far as I know, they're I guess it's a mix of the 2, right? Like some of them have been touched up on, and others are from prior releases. So
are the pre-orders all sold out? Do you know?
I don't know. I think it's limited. I think they said it's limited to 500, but you find 500 people that are not hesitant to drop $600 on the spot.
Well, for Castlevania, I could see it, honestly. I would think that wouldn't be too hard because the music is so good.
Yeah, it's notoriously good, and that's the thing is, like, I kind of said to myself, once I get this vinyl record player and I get that set, I also wanted to pick up the vinyls for Ninja Gaiden, for Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3. So
Sure.
don't be surprised if those wind up in my collection and I'm showing them off on the channel.
No, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'll try to get some images of these things to throw up in the video too, just so people can get a taste of it. Vinyl is so cool because of the art. If you like artwork for albums and stuff, there's no way you can beat vinyl, because you just get these really beautiful album covers and inserts and things with vinyl. You can get them with CDs too, but they're just so much smaller. So ever since I was a kid, I've always appreciated vinyl, and if there was an album cover I really loved, I really wanted to have it in vinyl for that reason.
Yeah, and actually, regarding the Ninja Gaiden vinyls, that's something that's really cool about them too, is you get to see more of the image, because the box art is, NES boxes are like kind of tall and vertical,
right?
Whereas the vinyls have a perfect square, so
yep.
you get the full scope of the image that you otherwise wouldn't have seen. Assuming they didn't already post the official artwork online somewhere that you can see it, but you get way more of the image. And again, the cover for Ninja Gaiden 2 is emphasized that much more on that vinyl cover, so
yeah, absolutely.
That shelf candy, you gotta have it.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, and I guess maybe for younger folks, it may be harder to understand what we're talking about here if you haven't seen vinyl before or used it, but it's a totally different experience, right? Taking out a vinyl record, putting it on your turntable, listening to it, looking at the album art, reading the lyrics on the sheets and things like that, from just selecting a song on your phone, right? Like the experience could not be more different. And
agreed.
It's just something I wish more people could experience, because I do think that it's a really fun part of music history that's, it's being preserved, but it's certainly nothing like it used to be,
right,
in terms of production.
And regarding that Castlevania vinyl set that's coming out, every single game has a sleeve, or every single record has a sleeve, and they all include liner notes, I believe is the way they put it.
The liner notes.
They all include liner notes for every single game, so you're going to get some, bits of information there you might not be able to read, outside of that set.
This is going to be so amazing for your channel to have those vinyls and be able to show them on the channel and feature them when you're playing the games. Like, that'll just be a very cool thing to see.
That's true. Yeah, it's definitely something I need to emphasize when I do get that set.
I mean, if they're only producing 500 of these, that's going to be a relatively rare thing. You may be the only person on YouTube who dives deep into it, really.
That's
entirely possible. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's very cool. I can't wait to see the set. I know, and this is the thing too, I've played only a few of the games, but I know the artwork as well is just amazing for those games. So I definitely want to see what that vinyl set looks like. Email me the link.
So
I'll
just
look at it
do
online and put some pics up here for the video as well.
Sure. But now, mind you, the artwork that's in those vinyls is actually going to be its own original artwork. It's
really?
All the artwork, for those vinyls, it's all artwork made specifically for that set. So it's going to be unique.
That's amazing. I didn't realize that. I figured they'd just use the game art from production. Okay, that's very cool. So, but let's get back to Ninja Gaiden 2.
Oh yeah.
And tell me about the game more. You said it's very cinematic. This is a action side scroller, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a 2D platformer action side scroller. You get power ups. That occupy. How do I put this exactly? So you get power-ups that you utilize throughout the game, that include shurikens, fire wheels, like flames, and
sure.
I don't know what else to say really about the game. I've mentioned the music. That kind of goes without saying. That music's great, but
is it long? Is it a long game?
It not if you know how to play through it. You know, like
Hmm.
if you're really good at the game, you'd probably knock it out in maybe 20 minutes. But
Wow.
uh,
Okay.
yeah, my first experience with the game, though, like growing up, it was very challenging for me.
Hmm.
And that game didn't have a password system or anything like that. So and back then you didn't have save states.
No
So
saves. Yeah.
if you got stuck on a particular level, you just had to keep trying, and eventually, if you threw in the towel and shut off the system, you'd have to go right back to the beginning of the game. And
Hmm.
I remember when I was younger, maybe like in the fourth grade, and I made it to the halfway point of the game. The game kind of teases you by having you fight the main antagonist at that moment. So I was convinced that I was really far into the game and everything, and when I beat the main antagonist for the first time, I pat myself on the back thinking, okay, dude, you're at the tail end of the game here. And
Hmm.
little did I know the game just kept going. uh,
Right.
Man, yeah, what a game though. It's just, I have just really just fond memories that, my dad, he didn't really indulge in, what I'm saying? He didn't buy me every game that I ever wanted. It was a
Sure.
special treat for me.
Right.
So when he let me choose two games from that stack of games, and I chose those two, I held on to that memory, and I have fond, just I think fondly about Ninja Gaidens 1 and 2 for that reason.
That's great. Do you have photos of these games, by the way?
I don't, but I could take pictures and
Yeah.
send them your way if you'd like.
Yeah. If you would like, I'm happy to feature your specific games in the video. Right.
Sure.
Just to make it a little more personal.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I could
enjoy
do
doing
that.
that. And again, this is something I think is fun for people, or could be fun for people to come back and watch later. So, just as a reference.
For
Uh,
sure. For
so,
sure.
yeah, cool. Well, it sounds like a great game. I love platformers. I love action platformers. So this is another one. This is another series I just never dove into a lot. Mega Man was kind of the same way for me. I played some of the Mega Man games on NES, and they were always just super challenging. So I never really got very deep into them when I was a kid, but I always enjoyed those. I still enjoy the challenges of those games, even if I don't beat them.
For sure.
They're fun to play. So, very cool. Anything else you'd like to add about Ninja Gaiden 2?
I guess just as a whole, it is one of my favorite game franchises of all time. Outside of Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden is a big one for me too. Even diving into the 3D games, I picked all of those up as they dropped.
Now, do you
And
think that they held up to what the 2D games had started?
yeah, I feel like they evolved so much from that. They're so different, but
Cool.
they still have the essence of the original franchise. Uh, you still have your unique abilities that are almost like a nod to the abilities of the original.
Would you say the same thing about Castlevania?
That franchise has changed so much over the years, but they generally stick to the two genres, right? Like the Metroidvanias and the traditional platformers.
Right.
Uh, and then once they dove into 3D, that got pretty interesting with like the N64 games, the PlayStation 2 titles,
Right.
and then the Lords of Shadow franchise, which was a complete reboot. They retcon. Well, I wouldn't say they retcon the story. It's a whole other universe.
Right. I played the
Uh,
first Lords of Shadow, quite a bit of it, and I enjoyed it a lot because it was narrated by Patrick Stewart, and I thought that was kind of awesome.
yeah, I think they did a great job with the first Lords of Shadow.
Hmm.
I can't say the same about the other two Lords of Shadow games. I'm not too fond of them, but
Yeah, I haven't played the
uh,
others. I just played the first one. I didn't beat it, but I played quite a bit of it and thought it was fun. But it is quite different, right? I mean, it's basically like Castlevania. Well, it's like God of War,
yes,
with a Castlevania skin, right?
that's true. Yeah,
Uh,
you're totally right. It does have a God of War vibe, yeah.
which
And
is
and
not a bad
regarding
thing, by the way, right? Like to
no,
me, I love God of War, so I think that's kind of fun. but it's still quite different, you know, because I went from playing Symphony of the Night to playing Lords of Shadow, and it's like, whoa, this
Oh wow,
is a totally different kind of game.
a little too different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't what I was expecting, right? For sure. But I still
Right.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're okay, you know. I don't hate them. I don't hate the Lords of Shadow franchise, and I think the first game is pretty decent.
Right.
So
Cool. Well, that's great though. These are obviously games that have a very long history, go all the way back to the NES in the 80s, and have many entries since then. I don't even know how many Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden games there have been. Dozens of each, I imagine, right?
yeah, I'd say Ninja Gaiden's got maybe like a good 7 or 8 games.
Oh, okay.
Off the top of my head, there's
Yeah.
like 3 on the NES, 1 on the Master System, 1 on the Game Gear. Oh gosh, there's an arcade beat 'em up too.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty random. And then there's the 3D ones, which there's 3 of now. So
Okay. Nice. And Castlevanias, there's way more.
yeah, probably like closer to 40 games
Yeah.
in the Castlevania franchise. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we know that because of your vinyl set, right? You're getting every soundtrack in that
That's right.
collection, right? So
Mhm.
that's a lot.
Yeah, I think the only ones it doesn't include are the Lords of Shadow ones, but
Okay.
I'm not crying about that. So.
Right.
I think I have those on CD anyway, so
Oh,
it is what it
yeah.
is.
Sure. Cool. All right. Well, that's great. What's your third pick?
Another Castlevania game, folks. Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis,
Okay.
or the Mega Drive for our European friends.
All right. Yeah. I've seen the box art for this, but I don't think I've ever played this one. I recently picked up Rondo of Blood with Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation Digital Store because it was
Nice.
on sale. But I haven't played Bloodlines yet, so tell us about it.
Okay, so Castlevania Bloodlines is actually, if you're familiar with Michiru, God, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Michiru Yamane's work from Symphony of the Night, this was actually the first game that she actually composed the music for, Castlevania Bloodlines.
Okay, very cool. So this must be a hell of a soundtrack then.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's one of the best Castlevania soundtracks, like, period. There's a theme in well, this game, by the way, is you're basically touring Europe. You're going to different locations in Europe. You're going to Germany, France, England, Greece, Italy.
Very cool. All
yeah,
the old places that vampires would be, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely that. So, God, just off the top of my head, like Iron Blue Intention, which is the theme they play in Germany, is like one of the best songs in the franchise, which they actually brought back in Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, which is a DS title.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then there's Prayer of a Tragic Queen. That's the song that plays in France, which I've always, and this is just my little theory, is I've always thought that Yamane actually named one of the Symphony of the Night tracks, The Tragic Prince. I've always kind of thought of that as like a nod to Prayer of a Tragic Queen.
Okay. I'll have to listen to it because I recently picked up the Dracula X Symphony of the Night CD soundtrack, and that song must be on there then. I would assume. It's the
yeah.
I got the Japanese import, so I'm gonna take a look here and see if I've got any names of the songs in English. I don't think there are, but I'm gonna just peek real quick.
Sure.
What was the name of the song again?
The Tragic Prince is one of the songs from Symphony of the Night that I'm convinced is, a reference to Prayer of the Tragic Queen.
Yeah,
from Bloodlines.
the only English track on here is the last one, and it's called "I Am the Wind."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the credits theme.
Okay, cool.
It's like a little jazz track.
Right. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, and I've got the lyrics in the back too. Okay, but yeah.
Nice. So the thing about Bloodlines is, it plays as a traditional 2D platformer.
Okay.
Up until then, at the time, every Castlevania game you used a whip wielder. And Bloodlines actually has two playable characters. It has John Morris, which uses a whip just like the Belmonts did. The very same whip, in fact, if you want to follow the lore.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but it also includes a new character named Eric Licard.
Okay.
And he uses more of a trident. He uses like a trident, like a spear.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and you can use it as like a vault to reach higher areas.
Okay.
It's a whole different experience using a trident instead of a whip, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the areas, they branch. It's like the stages themselves, they branch a few times, depending on which character you're using, because Eric has to vault his way up, whereas John Morris, he swings across with the whip, so...
Okay. Nice. Nice. Now, this is a single-player game, I assume?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is correct. Yeah, there aren't too many multiplayer Castlevania games.
Yeah, there is, what was it, Harmony of Dissonance? Was that multiplayer?
Close. It's Harmony of Despair.
Harmony of
Dissonance.
Despair. Right.
Yeah, because Dissonance was the Game Boy Advance title.
Okay.
With a very, very similar title. But yeah, Harmony of Despair, that's right. It was on the PlayStation 3 and the 360.
Okay. Yeah, because I picked that up, I want to say, on the Xbox store at some point, and I didn't realize, but I think it is multiplayer, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, big time. God, I think you could play it up to... I could be wrong here. It's like 5 or 6 players
yeah,
who can play it.
I was surprised. It was a lot. So
yeah, super fun.
Yeah, but getting back to Bloodlines though,
right?
Why is this your third pick? What did you like about this more than Circle of the Moon?
I guess the challenge that it added to it by giving you limited lives and continues.
Okay.
It actually pushes you to learn the game more, as opposed to Circle of the Moon, where if you like, I mean, I'm gonna just be blunt here. If you suck at the game, you can just level grind.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know, with Bloodlines, you actually kind of have to earn that win.
I see. Yeah.
Visually, the game is gorgeous. Like the stages, the backgrounds, they look really good. In fact, there is one example in Germany. When you're in Germany, there's actually a castle in the background. That's a real castle in Germany, called Cat's Castle, I believe is. I'm sure I butchered the pronunciation, obviously there, but you know, it has real life locations in the background.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and really just the aesthetics of the game, they're just so good. And you know, recently a prototype of the game dropped. You know, people can play that prototype and you can see how some of the changes were. You know, some of the major changes were there, and they're just interesting to look at too. Although that's, I guess I'm sort of deviating by saying that, because I'm not really talking about...
Well, it's interesting though, right? And are you gonna play that on your channel? Because that seems like
I actually did.
Oh, you did?
I live streamed. Yeah, I live streamed the prototype, and I played through it up until, you know, the game allows you to, because you know the game was incomplete at the time.
Right. What did you think of it compared to the finished product?
It was interesting. The intro was a little more generic, and it kind of nodded to Castlevania 3. Whereas, you know, in the end, this game was so far disconnected. I mean, yeah, they're part of the same timeline, but they're so far apart, you know?
Sure.
Oh, that's another thing worth mentioning is you actually have an unlockable difficulty, and if you beat it on that difficulty, the endings are slightly extended, and you're encouraged to play through the game more than once, because both characters have unique endings.
Sure. And that's such a cool mechanic. That's one of the things I love about the early Resident Evil games. That same thing of being able to play through as a different character, but there's unique story beats that happen depending on which character you play as. I love that design element in games. So I would probably really appreciate Bloodlines.
Yeah. And, you know, you're encouraged to get better at the game and kind of be a little stingier with your lives, because there is a password system, but it keeps track of how many lives you've accrued up to that point, so...
Now, Bloodlines was a Sega exclusive?
Correct, yeah. It was, yeah, that's exactly right. It stayed on the Sega Just like how at the time Super Castlevania 4 was a Super Nintendo exclusive. So you got two very different experiences depending on which game you picked up.
Now, can you play Bloodlines in one of the re-release packs of the Castlevania games?
Oh yeah, the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, which,
Okay.
God, I've seen it go on sale as cheap as $5. It's there.
Okay, cool. So it's had the same treatment then that Circle of the Moon has, as far as instant saves and a few other quality of life improvements.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it has quality of life improvements like the Game Boy Advance game did, but it definitely has instant saves, which I guess people can consider quality of life improvements, right?
I mean, for me, it's sort of an essential part of life, but I'm not very good at video games, so
yeah,
I just play them.
Sure.
Yeah. So no, that's cool. That's cool though. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one since you've. I mean, we don't know yet. You haven't finished the list, but obviously this is one of your favorite games, so I really want to check it out at some point. Not on the Sega Genesis, but on a computer with instant save.
Sure.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anything else you'd like to add about Bloodlines?
I'm just happy that they stuck with that composer. As much as I like the composers from the prior games, Yamane is definitely my favorite.
Now, was this her first game for composing in the series?
In the series, yes. Yeah, this was the very first game she composed music for, and for the most part, they just stuck with her from then on.
Nice. What else had she worked on before that, you know?
Before that? Oh, that's a tough question. I don't recall off the top of my head what she composed before that.
Anything else, any other series she worked on, things we may have heard?
Yeah. If you've ever played Skullgirls, the fighting game.
Okay, yeah, I have Skullgirls.
Yeah, she composed the music for that one, so
Nice.
And the music's really good in that too. So
very cool. Yeah, that's a pretty unique game. That's cool that she worked on that. I'm a little surprised, honestly. I would have thought that was a little more of an indie title.
Yeah, I'm surprised they were able to afford her as a composer, considering her reputation was already through the roof at the time.
Right. Oh, that's very cool. So I'll have to go back and play that one too, listen to the music, just see if I can tell.
No, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Well, that brings us, I think, to your second pick.
That's right. So this one is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's fantastic. I love it. Wow, so many. Well, you've listened to me already on the channel. You know how much I love that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic game. I mean, God, like my earliest memory of Ocarina of Time was hanging out at Sears, and for those of you that don't know, Sears is like a retail store at the time.
This was an ancient place of trading goods in the olden times of the late 20th century, children.
Right, they had really, really nice setups, like for kiosks and stuff. And
yeah, they did.
God, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was agreeing with you. I said, yeah, they did. The kiosk setups, they were better than a lot of places for gaming.
They were. Dude, like I remember Hotel Mario was like one of the earliest games I can think of seeing at Sears, which is pretty random. But another one, like obviously, is here it is Ocarina of Time, and they set it up to where it was based on a timer, right? So you had this timer to play the game for X amount of time, and then the game would reset. That was just their way of being like, okay, well, you're not going to play through the whole game,
right?
But
unfortunately, also, it would help, like probably move kids along so other kids could play it. I would assume was their logic.
Yeah.
There. It probably didn't work, right? The big kids were probably still like, nah, I'm just gonna keep playing this.
Well, here's the kicker, right?
Yeah.
For the situation for Ocarina of Time is, do you remember how long of an intro that game has?
Yeah, I would imagine the intro took up basically the entire timer.
Yes. as soon as the intro ended, boom, reset.
Yep. So you didn't get to play the game at all.
You didn't even get to play the game. No. But the intro was so captivating that it was enough for me to want the game.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. All you had to do is see that intro. Or you were like me and you had played A Link to the Past, it did not matter. There could have been no advertising at all, and I would have bought that game day one when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I saved my money years in advance to buy that game. Because I knew I had to play that game after Link to the Past.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter. It didn't matter what any critic said. This was the other thing that was kind of cool about the 90s. Game reviews were late. You very rarely heard anything about a game before you had a chance to play it, right? Whereas now it's like you always get, there's like 20 game reviews before you have a chance to touch the game at all. So which is kind of cool, but at the same time I feel like it's somewhat unfortunate because I think a lot of games get sort of an unfair shake from just early criticism, and it's like it's so much better if we could all just play games a little bit before we had to see reviews on everything. You know, I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah.
But back then it was like that, right? Like you only heard about a game review if you really went and looked for it. You know, like you had to read a magazine or talk to a friend who had already played it, that sort of thing. And by then, obviously, the game was out and you could access it. So it's just such a very different time in terms of advertising in general. But for something like Ocarina of Time, that was always going to be a massive success, just because of how great that franchise already was to that point.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I feel like I went on a tangent there.
It's okay.
Tell us more about your experience with Ocarina of Time.
Right. So after watching that intro on loop maybe a good 3 or 4 times, I was already sold on it, you know? Prior to that, my experience with Zelda was with the first 2 NES games.
Ah, okay. So you hadn't even played Link to the Past?
Not at the time, no.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't have a Super Nintendo, so I passed up that whole library until I was in high school.
Wow, okay. But see, this is what, it speaks so highly of the original Nintendo Zelda games as well, right? Like, you were already a fan of the franchise just because of those games, right?
Oh, yeah. I would throw both of those under honorary mentions just to say, they're so good. And when I finally got my copy of Ocarina of Time, I believe it was a Christmas gift.
Okay.
I just remember that here it is. It's a gold box with the logo. That's all you need, you know?
Yeah, right?
That's all you need. There's the logo. It's gold.
Absolutely.
Looks great. You know you're getting into something good here.
Yep. They could have shipped those carts in a Ziploc bag and I'd have paid retail for it. Like...
They were that good.
Yes.
I remember getting that game and just, you know, at the time my cousins, just about all of them had the 64. So I didn't have to bring my console with me, obviously. I would just grab Ocarina of Time and just take it with me. The cartridge is small enough to fit in my pocket.
Well, and of course Nintendo made the very wise decision with that game to have save data on the cart. You didn't have to have one of those stupid memory card things to save your game, so you literally only needed the cartridge and you could play your game on any 64.
That's right. Yes, I would just take that cartridge with me, whether I'd go to my cousin Carlos's house or my cousin Omar's house, my cousin Alan's house.
Yeah.
I would just grab the cart, take it with me, and then I'd make a little bit of progress everywhere I went, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your cousins enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, we all enjoyed it together, you know? It was something we would all just kind of hang out and just watch each other play. And everything was a small victory. I still remember when I found the bottle at the bottom of Lake Hylia with Princess Rudo's, and I think that's her name, Princess Rudo. Princess Rudo's note. And I remember my cousins at the time, they'd be like, "Oh man, you found it! Like you found a bottle, cool," you know? Yeah, every little thing. Or we'd be fishing, and that's a big fish. Can I catch a bigger one? I don't know. Let's find out, you know?
Yeah, that was the first. Was that the first game where you could fish in the game? That it wasn't like just a fishing game, you know, like a sports thing.
Well, what about what the heck is it called? Link's Awakening, right? You could fish in that. Did that come out
That's right.
before or
That's
after
right.
Ocarina?
Yeah, it was before. That was before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
you're
guess
right.
that's the yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it, didn't couldn't you fish in Harvest Moon? I'll bet you could.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm not too familiar with Harvest Moon.
Anyway, that came out around that was also might have been just before or just after Ocarina. I'm not sure. It was that was like the end of the Super NES lifetimes when Harvest Moon came
Mm.
out. And but I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember if you could fish or not. You could do all this farming stuff though, so it makes sense that you'd be able to fish. But I remember that was just a big deal that people were talking about. Oh, how cool it was! You could go fishing in Ocarina of Time, and I remember playing through it. I got my copy 2 or 3 days after it released because I had pre-ordered it at Walmart and
Mm-hmm.
to get the gold cart because I really wanted
Oh, wow.
that
That's so cool.
yeah, gold cart limited edition. And or,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if they were limited, but you had to
Well,
pre-order
they're
it to get it.
they are now.
Yeah,
That's for
yeah,
sure.
sure they are now. Um, yeah, I wish I still had mine. I can tell you that.
Shoot, yeah.
But anyway, that was like a really long 48 hours. I can tell you know,
Yeah.
knowing that this game was out and other people were playing it, and I still had to wait for how ridiculous is it, right? You pre-order the game and you have to wait longer to play
Yeah.
it, like than everybody. It didn't make any sense, you know. But
No, it didn't.
I still did it anyway because I had to have that gold card.
Yeah. I mean, if I knew about that gold card, I definitely would have pushed for it too. But
Well, the only
that
reason I
was
knew about it was Nintendo Power. I think like it was probably
okay.
advertised there. It must have been
Interesting.
advertised somewhere, but I saw that it
Oh,
wasn't
sure.
the internet because we didn't have the internet back then.
Right.
At least not at my house. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, those are my memories, and I remember taking it with my Nintendo 64 to visit friends, setting it up on their TV, and then Nintendo Power had like this little mini player's guide that month,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole issue was like Zelda stuff. So it had the player's guide for like the first 3 dungeons or something in there, and I was following the guide and going through the dungeons. I had so much fun with it.
I vividly remember the water temple being in, I believe, that guide.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was really, really fun, and I had that Nintendo Power forever too until a few years ago. I got rid of all my gaming magazines, and I kind of wish I still had that one. There's been very few things in my life, I have to say, that I once owned but then passed on or, you know, sold, donated, whatever, that I have since sort of missed again. But Ocarina of Time would be one of those things. It's a very short list, but that is on it.
I get that.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But anything else you'd like to add about Ocarina? I mean, it speaks for itself. I think everybody, for the most part, knows about it. Do you want to give a quick description, though, just in case? Some people are like, what is that? What's Zelda? What's...
Of Ocarina?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Open world game, dungeons,
Yeah.
weapons, mini games. God, that game had mini games galore.
Yep.
It had like the archery range. It had the shooting range with the little, you know, with the seeds.
You had to catch chickens.
Yeah. See, I didn't even think about that one. Catching chicken mini game, the horseback riding. Like that game had it all, man.
So much stuff, all in 3D because it was the Nintendo 64. This was, I don't think. Final Fantasy VII was obviously a big deal. GoldenEye was a big deal, but GoldenEye wasn't this thing that anybody expected. GoldenEye came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knew or expected a game based on a movie to be that incredible or genre defining at the time. So no one was really anticipating it, I don't think, but I think Ocarina of Time may have been the most anticipated game ever, at least of the last century. In terms of just people looking forward to it and the buzz around it. Like, I just don't remember it being like that for any other game back then. I don't know. What do you think?
See, my mind was just completely elsewhere in that regard.
Okay. So you weren't really paying attention to when it was releasing so much?
No, no, I just remember just that moment at Sears and just wanting that game. And then once I got it, for me it's gonna sound really funny, but for me this was like a Christmas game. This was a holiday. Like I'm always gonna
Okay.
associate Ocarina of Time with the holidays
I see.
because I remember opening it and telling my cousins, "All right, we got to dive right into this one." And that was, at the time our families were all very close and we'd always be hanging out with each other on weekends and stuff. So I
Oh,
remember
nice.
just from Christmas into just diving into the New Year's, that was all we were just messing with was Ocarina of Time.
That's a great memory.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And what a great game to do that with. It's a fun game to play with other people, for sure.
Mhm.
So, as far as single player games go, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I don't know. It put in the chat, anybody who's listening, what were your most anticipated games? Because I'm honestly curious. Maybe people had very different experiences for that,
Mm,
and I'd love to hear about them. What was your most
right.
anticipated game, Omega? This is a quick
Uh
aside. I'm just curious.
that's a hard one. Well, I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to like game releases up until I was in high school, and by then I was just knee deep in Castlevania. So
Right.
anything I anticipated was always Castlevania related. There was a point in time where they would release maybe two games for that franchise every year. Uh, and I remember being particularly excited for the first one that came out on the DS, which was Dawn of Sorrow.
Okay.
I
Nice.
remember being very excited about that game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else you'd like to add about Ocarina of Time?
It's just a fun collectathon too. Like, if you're into getting those gold skulltulas or item upgrades,
Right.
you know, increasing your ability to your wallet, stuff like that. Like, there's
Sure.
always a little something that you could do, and it had all sorts of interesting Easter eggs that weren't an obligation in the game. It's just little things that you can stumble across and enjoy.
This is a game I think that anybody who's played the more modern Zelda games or anyone who enjoys 3D action games, like you would probably really enjoy this game. Because this
Yeah.
was the first 3D Zelda game, and the combat is great. The
Mm-hmm.
exploration is super fun. Yeah, it's a very similar story to Link to the Past in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
and the older Zelda games in general. Link is the hero who's got to save Hyrule and Princess Zelda from Ganon, and
Mm-hmm.
go through all these different castles and dungeons to unlock new abilities and ultimately save the princess and the kingdom. But yeah, it's a story as old as time, but it never gets old. So it's super fun.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I think Ocarina is one of the best ones. I would say, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna make a judgment and say best action platformer ever, but it's definitely up there.
It
Um,
definitely peaked there. Like that was the peak of the franchise, I feel.
hmm Yeah, a lot of people say Ocarina is the best, or Majora's Mask. They really like those two.
Mm.
Um, I'm a little more old school. It's always going to be Link to the Past for me, but that's just because of memories when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first Zelda game I played. So, your first one,
Mm.
it hits harder, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely that.
But yeah, great game nonetheless. So, I think you can play it on Virtual Console now.
Oh yeah,
On Switch for anybody
for
who does
sure.
the Switch Virtual Console stuff. It's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely worth your time if you're a Zelda fan. Um, cool. So, Omega, I think this brings us to your number one pick. I have to say, I legitimately, sometimes I have sneaking suspicions about what people are gonna pick for their number one game, and sometimes I'm right. But with you, I have to say, I honestly have no idea. I know how much you love Castlevania. I know, I've seen you play all kinds of games on your show, but I really just have no idea what you're gonna pick for this number one slot. So
Okay.
yeah, what have you got for us?
Well, before I was in this relationship with Castlevania, there are other franchises that preceded it, and I'm always gonna have fond memories of those franchises. The Legend of Zelda, Ninja Gaiden,
Sure.
and one of the most obvious of them all is Super Mario Brothers, and
Oh
my number
yeah.
one pick is Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh wow. Okay, that's awesome. This is so cool. I would have guessed that you liked Mario, I guess, but we've never talked about it.
Yeah.
We've never really talked about Mario that I can remember. I don't think I've even seen you play Mario games, so that's very cool. Though,
Yeah.
Mario Brothers 3 is a game I don't think anybody could argue with as a number one pick. That's a fantastic game, of course. You really love the platformers, huh?
I do. Oh, I'm super into platformers.
Yeah. That's very cool. As far as the Mario games go, and they go very far, man, Mario Brothers 3 was amazing, I have to say. It was one of the first ones I played, and it was such a massive jump from the first Mario game, which I also love. But yeah, 3 is definitely special. So, but tell us about it. What do you love about Super Mario Brothers 3? How did it become your number one pick?
So Super Mario Brothers 3 is the very first game I ever experienced witnessing a secret in a video game.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, as you know, it has those flutes that are hidden. Flute, I think they call it a flute. That's the funny thing. It's the same flute from The Legend of Zelda.
Right.
It actually plays the same little tune. But I believe in Legend of Zelda they call it a recorder. So I don't know. I never know whether to call it a recorder or a flute. But
Right. I think, yeah, I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I had an older cousin. Well, he's still alive. So I have an older cousin who at the time was really just kind of flexing and showing off his skills with the game and showing us where all these secrets were. Which, as you know, unless you were, diving into those magazines, secrets you would discover by chance.
Yep.
Or somebody else would tell you those secrets or show you those secrets.
It's a big deal, right? You trade fatality combos or game secrets like that in school like they were hard currency, Yeah.
That's what that'd give you your 15 minutes of fame right there.
Oh, yeah.
I know how to unlock this character, or I know how to acquire this item.
Yep. It was a big deal back then, for sure. And it was super fun. Because you could play a game for dozens of hours and not find stuff like that. That's what's so cool about even these really old games. Like they built so much into them. If you take the time to explore them and find stuff, it's like you could spend so much time playing Super Mario Brothers 3 and not get bored. That's one of the magical things about that game. Is like I could play Mario Brothers 3. I could probably play Mario Brothers 3 and nothing else for a year and have a fantastic time. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to do in that game. And it's just so entertaining. So yeah, I totally respect that as a number one pick. That's very cool.
Thank you. For me, like when I played through Super Mario Brothers 3, like I have such a fondness for the level design that I don't like to skip anything. So I don't use any flutes, and I don't fly over things either. I go through the whole game. In fact, I made up it's a condescending name, I'll admit, but I just do it mostly for the humor. as you know, the P-wings, the ones that people use to fly over everything.
Right.
I call them the peasant wings.
Ah.
So yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna throw on the peasant wings and skip the level. Good for you.
Right.
You know.
You're not a very cultured person. Obviously, you're not enjoying the art and the imagination that went into creating this. And I will confess, I'm a peasant sometimes when I play Mario, or I'll try not to be. I'll try to be like you, very cultured. But after that 20th time dying in the exact same place, I'm a little like, yeah, I think I'll fly over this. There's an option. But again, I'm not good at video games. I just play them. So.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, I totally appreciate what you're saying, though. It's awesome. And it is a game that is so well designed that you can just go through it like that, and I mean, it's totally worth your time to go through it and play the levels just to admire their design, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, every single level in that game is just an experience for me, and yeah, it's like one of the earliest video games I ever remember playing. Like, obviously, a lot of us started with Super Mario Brothers for the NES. Just, you know, the first... Well, it's not the first Mario Brothers game, but it's definitely the one that put Nintendo on the map, you know?
Well, I had a friend who had an NES when I was a kid, and, you know, I must have been like 5 or 6, and he had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. And he had Mario Brothers 3. He might have had Mario Brothers 2, but I really don't remember that. I feel like I played that later when I got a Super Nintendo, and it came in the Super Mario All-Stars cartridge, you know, with the others, like that 4-pack that was so cool. Anyway, I just remember playing those 3 games. Oh, and Metal Gear. He had the first Metal Gear game on Nintendo.
Ooh, nice.
We had a lot of fun with that, too.
Yeah.
But specifically Mario Brothers 3, I think we played more than any of the others by far, and both enjoyed, you know, and we could do the 2-player, like, you know, I could be Luigi, he could be Mario, vice versa, right? So we both get to play the game, and it was just a lot of fun. That's the game that I really fell in love with Mario with as a kid. It was Mario Brothers 3 for sure. So, and eventually, you know, the first game I owned was Super Mario World, because I got the pack with the Super Nintendo. That was the first console I ever had and game. So Mario World is very special to me as well. But Mario Brothers 3 is definitely, I totally understand why you would pick it as your number one. It's so well designed and so entertaining, and so just so much fun to play.
For me, Super Mario World was a unique experience because I didn't grow up having a Super Nintendo, so I'd only really catch glimpses of that game whenever I'd visit family that did have a Super Nintendo, which, funny enough, I don't think any of the cousins I had that lived nearby owned a Super Nintendo. It wasn't I had family in Mexico, and some of those cousins did, but it's not like I was hanging out in Mexico all the time. It was, you know, we'd visit them every year or every other year, and that was my experience with Super Mario World. Was one of my older cousins, Ivan. My older cousin Ivan, he would show me. He'd say, "Check this out. You can inflate and go over here, and there's a key in this area. You grab the key, you put it in the keyhole." Like, oh wow, this is wild, you know?
Yep. The cape was super fun. Having Yoshi was super fun.
Oh yeah, Yoshi was really cool.
And all of Yoshi's buddies that were different colors. That was all very fun and different. But you know, Mario 3 had, like you said, it had the flutes, and you had the raccoon suit that was really fun for flying. And yeah, I mean, you can really see how, like, Mario World was just an evolved version of Mario 3 in a lot of ways. And like the whole formula was there in Mario 3.
Yeah, sure. Also worth mentioning are like the frog suit, the Hammer Brothers suit.
Yes, I forgot
the
frog
Tanuki.
suit.
Yeah, and then there was the one suit. I think it's called the Tanuki, right? The one,
Mm-hmm.
I think the Tanuki is the one where you can turn into like a stone statue or something.
Oh, right, yes, which is so cool because that was based on actually I think a real thing, right, in Japan, real statues.
That's right. And the thing, something I didn't know until well after high school, and it just blew my mind was if you turn into that statue midair and you land on enemies, you can kill certain enemies
Oh
that
yeah,
way that you
yep.
couldn't kill otherwise, unless you had a star, obviously. But that was,
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I knew
yeah.
you could kill enemies, but I didn't know it was like that. You could kill stuff that was not killable otherwise without a star. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I had never beaten the game or even come close to beating the game when I was a kid, but I played it on the Switch Virtual Console about a year and a half ago, and I played through the whole game, beat it with instant save states, thank God, right? I'd still be playing it without those, and did the same with Super Mario World. I think I did them back to back. I want to say I can't remember which one I did first, but I had so much fun with one of them. I did it, with the other, and it was just so much fun to play those two.
Right.
They're just fantastic games. So yeah, this is all. I'm so glad you picked it. Ty Lord picked Super Mario Brothers 2 as his favorite, which I thought was a great conversation for anybody who's interested. You can go watch my episode with Ty Lord, and it was such a unique pick. I loved hearing his thoughts on it, but it was such a different game from 1 and 3, right? Really, the first 3 games are just wildly different from each other. They're just completely different. So it's which is kind of fun because Nintendo really tried a lot of different things, and each one of them is entertaining for different reasons, particularly the second two. So, but no, this is just I'm very glad someone has brought up Mario Brothers 3 on the show. So thank you. Great to be able to talk about it. For sure. Anything else you'd like to add about it?
It has that iconic cover, right, where it's bright yellow with blue lettering.
Yep.
In your face.
Yep. It's an awesome cover art. Awesome soundtrack too. Should mention that.
Yeah. The music's terrific for sure.
That's another one of those, the franchise, you can go all the way back to the NES and you can see, like, they had the music. They had some really great music right from the beginning in that series, just like Castlevania.
Yeah, I think it's one of the earliest video games I'd ever actually beaten, too.
Well, and it's a tough one, right? Like, it's not a particularly easy game. It definitely requires some. Now, maybe it's easy for you, Mr. Platformer.
Well,
but us mere mortals here, it can be a bit challenging.
Yeah, for a starter, it is hard. It's not. It's not an easy win.
No, definitely not. But it's super fun though. It was definitely worth all the time I played as a kid. It made it possible for me to play and ultimately beat Mario World. So that's the other thing. Yeah. Well, any other honorable mentions you'd like to talk about, Omega?
Sure. For one, I'd say Street Fighter II.
Nice.
That game was what got me into fighting games. Experiencing at least just the vanilla version of Street Fighter II, right? Like the very first version of Street Fighter II, when you beat the initial roster, and you'd see the bosses pop up on the map. It was what was it? M. Bison, Vega, Balrog, and Sagat. Like you'd see them pop up on the map. You're like, oh man, it's like secret opponents. How cool,
Yep.
And yeah, because of that, I remained interested in fighting games, and I continued playing them throughout the remainder of my my gaming years. I'm still playing fighting games to this day. I recently picked up Tekken 8.
Nice.
Love the Soul Calibur franchise as well. I think those are definitely worth mentioning.
Oh yeah, I love Soul Calibur. I played, I want to say the first two in college. Somebody had a GameCube, and
Nice.
we could play those. And Smash Brothers. Yeah, that was really fun. I never got to dive deep into them, but the animations at the time, especially, I thought were incredible for Soul Calibur. It was really beautiful graphics.
Yeah.
Unique too, right? Just all the different types of combatants that you could be in that game. All these different warriors, but completely different fighting styles. It's really cool. Yeah, I love Street Fighter II. That's another one Ty Lord and I discussed at length in his video. That was one of his picks, and it's also kind of a cool game to talk about because it's had so many incarnations, right?
Oh, so many. Yeah.
I don't know if there's 10, but there's close to it, if not. Like, there's a lot of different versions of Street Fighter 2. And I really want to play that most recent one, too. I forget what it's called. What was the one that came out on the Switch? It's,
the Final Challengers.
Final
Ultra
Challengers.
Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers.
Yeah, I mean, they updated the graphics. It looks like almost like you're playing an anime, kind of. Like, like the graphics were really good in the one is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I gotta pick that up at some point. Yeah. So very cool. Anything else you want to add about it, or any other picks you'd like to talk about?
Sunset Riders. I'd say for the Super Nintendo and arcade.
I'm not familiar with this game. What is this game about?
Oh, it's Konami. It's a Konami game. It's like a run and gun, kind of like. I mean, not to oversimplify it. Well, I guess it is a pretty simple game. It's a Western themed shooter, kind of like Contra, I guess you could say. Like how you aim your gun and you fire your projectiles. You run along the screen.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like you play as one of 4 different cowboys. If you play the arcade version, you can play it with 4 people.
Very cool.
Some really good music there. That was like a game that my cousin Miguel and I, we used to dump a bunch of tokens into, and we'd always make it to the end of the game, and we'd always die against the final boss and run out of money.
Right? Oh, I had so many of those at the arcade. I could probably do a whole show on all the arcade games I lost all my money on and just got right to the end but never beat, you know.
Yeah, that was one of those for us until eventually I picked up the home console version on the Super Nintendo and eventually beat it on there because I had the time and place to practice.
Now that you mentioned that about the arcade, I think I remember the game you're talking about. I think I've actually played that. It was very cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's really fun, and the music's really good too.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll mention maybe just 2 more games and then wrap it up. But Chakan the Forever Man was a recent discovery for me. I really got into that game.
You picked that up at a recent con, right?
Well, I had a loose cartridge prior to that. And then I ended up having to order a complete in-box copy off of eBay. And then I took that box copy to the con you're talking about and had it autographed by the game's producer.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Send me that photo, and I'll put it on the episode. People can see.
Sure.
That's really cool. I do that too with comic books. I love going to comic cons and getting my books signed, meeting the artists and writers. But I've never done it with games. So I thought that was really cool that you did that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm in the process of trying to get the creator of the character to autograph the game. I found out that he has an eBay store, and I bought a couple items, and I'm kind of just slowly finessing my way into just asking the guy, like, hey, what if I sent you my copy of the game, and I paid for the return shipping, would you autograph it for me?
Right. Yeah, that's
so
very cool.
Here's to hoping on that. It has a potion system that's pretty cool. You combine 2 specific potions, and you have different effects, whether it powers up your weapon, or it creates a portal so you can go back to that particular area of the level. You know, there's a potion combination that wipes the enemies off the screen. There's a lot of depth to the game that people don't realize, and I think it's sadly overlooked because people don't have the patience for the game's difficulty.
Well, it sounds really interesting, though. I remember seeing it, you know, like in Toys R Us or whatever. When I was a kid, I remember the box art very clearly, but I don't think I ever got a chance to play it. So I'm definitely interested to check it out, though. What you said about it.
Yeah,
for sure. So, that's very cool. I hope you can get it signed.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too.
So, and you mentioned there's one other game?
Yeah, I'll mention one more. I mean, God, I can go on for hours, but I'm going to just name one last title just to wrap it up. And I'd say that's Double Dragon 2 for the NES.
Okay. Very, very cool game. This, again, takes me back to the early 90s and Ninja Turtles. And 'cause I played Double Dragon on my friend's NES as well. And there was another friend that had that one, I think. But we could play it 2-player, and that was really fun as an early beat-em-up. I'm a big fan of Streets of Rage. I even really enjoyed the last one they did, Streets of Rage 4, more recently. But I love the old games, and Double Dragon was kind of a precursor to that. So that's very cool.
Yeah. The music's really good. It has some platforming elements. It's challenging. The game's very challenging, but it's fun. It's fun. It's worth, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, another great one for music, right? I mean, really, all of these, I'm sure. Other than I haven't played all of them, but I'm betting they have really good music.
Right, and that's another one of those games that has an iconic cover. Double Dragon 2's cover. It's one of those worthy of a poster, you know.
Well, you know, so many of those NES games, I feel like, and Sega games were like the production level on the game art was like movie level, right? Like it was. So many of them just looks. We bought games based on cover art back then. We didn't buy games based on reviews typically. It was going to be like what you went into the store and you saw the games on the shelf. That was the first time you saw or heard anything about them so much of the time, right? Unless you really followed it in the magazines. And
nowadays, now all I was going to say was nowadays game covers are like an afterthought, which is super lame because, dude, I've seen some games on like the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And God, am I allowed to swear here?
Sure, you can do whatever you want.
all I'm gonna say is the cover arts for some of these games are absolute ass. That's all I'm gonna say. And wow, when you look back at, you know, what we had back then for cover arts, man, it hurts that we don't have that level anymore.
Well, you know, I'm just thinking of the early Mega Man games, like the hand paintings that they did for that, like, were so iconic and cool and immersive, right? Because they looked fantastic, but it was also realistic in a way, right? Like the way that those early Mega Mans were. It was like it looked like a human dude as Mega Man. You know, it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
So just eye-catching and memorable cover art. And you're right. I mean, there's still some good stuff these days, but I do feel like a lot of the times it is phoned in, and it's unfortunate. But so I noticed a few things here I wanted to mention from your list, and that was music seemed to be a big thing. Like everything you pick, music is like they're all bangers. And the other thing was, obviously I mentioned before, platforming is a big thing. And I just think it's very cool that you obviously love platformers so much. And sometimes I think about, you know, what is the you could say like the soul or the core of video games are different for everybody. I think I'd say that first, but I'm just gonna say that I think for a lot of people, I love RPGs, right? And I love JRPGs, and for me that's like kind of the epitome of gaming. But another part of me would say like platformers are like that's like the essence of gaming, because of Mario and you know, to a lesser extent Zelda, I guess. But you know, just that early stuff, things like Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden, you know, those are like just such core memories for so many of us, you know, are those platformer games. And so much of gaming wouldn't exist without it. So I just wanted to say I think it's very cool that your list is obviously dominated by that genre, and I respect it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool. So, anything else you'd like to add that we may have missed?
I'm not going to dive too much into it, but Mega Man X I think has to be mentioned, just because the music is so good, and it's just another one of those platformers that, you know, I got into late in the game. I actually first experienced it when I was in high school, and I bought a Super Nintendo off of this other guy.
Nice.
With my hard-earned money at the time, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, that game I'd say made an impression on me that's at least worth mentioning. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
I enjoyed it. I had Mega Man X for my Super Nintendo, and I didn't get very far in it. I probably got like a few levels into it. Again, I was not particularly good at platformers, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it was awesome. The graphics at the time and the gameplay were great. And I know Mega Man X is a fan favorite of the series. So yeah, it's very cool. Well, great list, Omega. Thank you so much again for sharing it with us. Had a great time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, or anything you'd like to plug from your channel?
If you're passionate about Castlevania, I upload Castlevania related short videos every Tuesday. You know, 1-minute videos, so they're easy to digest, quick little bites. More often than not, you'll walk away having learned something new. I know I learn something new every time I research those things.
Yeah, and I learn something new every time I watch one, for sure. They're very well produced. They're fun to watch. Omega Stream is a lot of fun to join. All of our friends are there, and you'll see Ty Lord and DLP, Retro Tiburon, Retro Ryan, a lot of the people that have been on the show already. And Omega's always playing some kind of cool game. So I've seen him play Castlevania games, Mortal Kombat, and really enjoy it, because they're always games that I wish I was good at.
You have the potential. You just need to put in the time. That's all.
That's true. But it's so much easier to just tune into your stream and watch you just, you know, destroy it. You know, like.
All right, and half the fun's hanging out and chatting with our friends, and you know, shout out to them, man.
Absolutely.
They're all amazing people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Omega. Thank you to everybody else who's been on the show. I'm having a lot of fun making it. And have a great day, everyone else. Leave your favorites down below. If you like these games, if you like other games from the series, let us know about it. You know, tell us about what. Hey, we talked a lot about game music this episode. Tell us about what some of your favorite game music is. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe it's a game we haven't played or we haven't heard before. We're always looking for new stuff to experience. So thank you so much, and have a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.
c'est tout.